They do exist.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Facebook. This is Tuesday. It's 12 p.m. Eastern. It's 5 p.m. in the UK, and it's myself and Tina. Hello, Tina.
Hello, everyone.
Right. We're talking. We're talking about mermaids, weren't we?
We were.
And if you didn't catch the film last night, it's in the BLIFbot group, and you can hear all about mermaids and
They're magical creatures that get you 200 live viewers.
They do. They are magical creatures. Perhaps we should recruit some. If it's finding them, though, is going to be a problem. Say hello to our first visitor of the day. Welcome to the show. We're just getting into the swing of things. So, yeah, and it's hello to Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Nice to see you. Right, now, I suppose in the social media world, the news of the week is something that we both use, and that's Twitter.
We do.
I use, before the show, I send out the cards. Mm-hmm. These cards. Yeah. And that card goes out 30 minutes before the show. And normally I'm able to send it on my main Twitter account and on the BLIFbot Twitter account. I can't do that anymore. I cannot send the same tweet on two accounts at the same time.
Okay.
And that's say hello to Alfredo.
Hello, Alfredo.
And Peter.
And Peter.
And Charles.
And everyone.
We're headed towards 100 consecutive live viewers if you all share this now. And hello, Marco. Right. Okay. Yeah, the Twitter changes. Basically, anybody who's using automated software and was used to sending the same tweet out on several accounts at the same time, you can't do it now. It's just stopped. Twitter don't like it. And according to Mike Alton, who is reasonably in the know, anybody who disobeys will have their access to the Twitter API restricted.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more people not really liking or not people, but platforms not liking the automation. So, that becomes a problem I imagine, especially for agencies who handle multiple accounts. If you can't automate anything, it makes it impossible to do your job.
Well, it takes twice as long. If you contracted, if the company you're working for, Twitter will not allow duplicate tweets. That's tweeting from more than one account to use the same tweet at the same time. We already know it stops you sending the same tweet on the same account. Now you can't send the same tweet on several accounts at the same time. Yeah, if you were acting as an agency, then your workload is just doubled or trebled or quadrupled. Because if the company has two Twitter accounts and you're used to sending out the same marketing message each day of the week at the same time, you cannot do it through the same system.
Yeah, you have to rework your strategy, which is, it's about enough if you're an individual company and you have to sit down and rework your strategy because of changes on the platforms. But if you're an agency and you handle multiple accounts, that means reworking a strategy for all of your accounts. And that can be really time consuming. I mean, strategy takes time. They probably worked on the strategy for months before they put it into place. Now they've got to rethink it. Probably not redo the whole thing, but certainly think about how you're distributing things. And I get, though, I understand it from the platform's perspective, too, that, you don't want stuff just kind of spammed out. We ran into that trouble with email. There's so much spam out there. People just skim through emails and don't really engage with them anymore. It's rare to get a reply to an email.
It sure is. And just to take up on the points that are being made, Alfredo is saying we can retweet. Can automation be used? An automated retweet. You're going to find that out. If you're retweeting another tweet, then that is still permissible. I think it's sending this a same identical tweet on more than one account at the same time. And I was trying to type an answer to Peter's question, but we got to it before I did. So what's the reason for this? What do you think, Tina? Why are they up to these tricks?
I think it's just to prevent the kind of spam. They don't see the purpose of sending the same tweet out at the same time over multiple platforms. They want you to mix it up. I mean, you can certainly use the same tweet, just not at the exact same time.
Right. I've got a spelling correction.
I get where they're coming from, but it's certainly frustrating to those of us that need to, have some automation available to free up some of our time. So I don't know. I'm still trying to, work around all of the Facebook changes. So I haven't even thought about working with the Twitter ones yet.
Right. Okay. Again, if you type guest, you can join us on camera. You're more than welcome to join us. Just type guest in the comments and you can join us. You're more than welcome to do so as we work our way through an agenda until Robert turns up, and then we'll just wing it. Right now, I think the reason for this, and I'll come on to Patricia's comments in a moment, both Facebook and Twitter are trying to get people to talk to each other. Now, when Twitter started, everybody used to send out a tweet and they get a reply. In fact, they not just get one reply, they get several replies because people are interested in what people were saying. And there were conversations going on. And we know that Twitter chats still take place on a regular basis every single day of the week. But the art of conversation on Twitter is gone. If you send out a tweet, even if it's a question, you won't get a reply. It just goes out into the ether and it just disappears. I think what they're trying to do is bring back conversation, but having lost it over the last 10 years, can they bring it back just by saying so? And does it make Twitter less relevant? I mean, on Facebook, for the moment, we can do this live show and then we can share this live show out. And it can go from the BLIFbot page to our own personal profiles, to any groups that are in, and Facebook doesn't have an argument with that. Mm-hmm. And we're effectively sharing the same content several times. And Peter changed his spelling a moment ago, but on to Patricia's point, I think it's from a history of so much abuse, the bad actors ruin it for everyone. There's something in that, isn't there?
Well, I think, what people are missing, or what the platform is missing, is part of the reason that we've seen a decline in conversation is just because there's so much volume that, we want to scroll through. And I think we have the best intentions that we're going to scroll through and we're going to see something that catches our attention and resonates with us that we intend to interact with. But then, 20 minutes later, we're still scrolling and we haven't responded to anything. There's just so much volume of stuff there. It's hard to weed through and trying to, decide what is worthy of your response or your time to respond. And, the reason Twitter chats are still there because those are really specific. And I think that's what people are going to have to do. They're going to have to get very specific about what they want to talk about and consistently talk about that. So when you have a Twitter chat, it's, it's hiker chat. It's specifically about hiking, or it's whatever. What we were talking about earlier, the person that did the Be Live show that had 200 concurrent viewers, they have a very specific audience. It's mermaids. So, I think anytime you get really specific and you're consistent on that topic, you're going to have better engagement no matter what platform you're on. But stuff that's just kind of out there everywhere, there's just so much of it. Unless something really is of a specific interest of you, I think we just skim it and we don't respond to it. And Facebook telling us that we have to have a conversation, or Twitter telling us that we have to have a conversation, is not going to make it happen just because you say you got to do it.
No, you've got to create the conversation. You've got to have a reason for doing it. And that's what live video does. Live video creates conversations because our friends are commenting. And Trish is saying it was about community. The hashtag chats are where the community takes place. I'm talking of the community. I'm waiting for Peter to sit down, and then Peter will join us on camera. And say hello to Carlos. Right, and I think Carlos makes a good point there, that whenever a medium is created that you can send out a message on, people come along and broadcast, and marketers, and we're all marketing ourselves, but I mean the big marketers come along, and I'm going to tour Peter's house in the lobby. The big marketers spoil it for everybody, because once they get involved, then conversations are nigh impossible. I mean, there are some brands that do respond. Yeah. I mean, Twitter, if you've got a complaint, Twitter is still one of the best ways to get that complaint.
Yeah, and some of the brands are great. I mean, they're really creative and fun, and they have really a kind of a cult following. Taco Bell is a good example. I mean, they always have fun and creative, and KFC's got some good engagement on there. But it's just, again, whether it's the marketers, which for sure, marketers are guilty of cluttering up the space. But there's just so much. You have, everyday people are posting, I don't know, here's my coffee cup for today. There's 9,000 of those. It's just so much stuff to go through. And at first we all kind of liked, at first we kind of enjoyed seeing pictures of food. But the truth is now only people who are like real foodies, or if it's somebody who's traveling in a specific, even for foodies is too general. It has to be vegan or, chocolate or something really specific to get a conversation going. You can't just be general. If you're general, you're not going to have an audience online. It's just too much clutter out there.
Yeah, you've got to be niche, haven't you? You've got to go after a particular market. And you've got to treat it with respect. And I've got the thumbs up from Aberdeen in Scotland. We welcome, without any real fanfare. Hello, Peter. Thank you, Peter, and welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm feeling great. I done 5 kilometer run on Saturday, and I done a 10-mile bike ride on Sunday.
Awesome.
Now I'm exhausted.
So you're having a relaxing day today?
Yeah, it's. I've been out. Now, there's one thing I'd like to tell people out. Anybody that's thinking of taking up doing videos, don't do it in a house that's got those lights above the ceiling. And every room in my house is the same. So I'm actually working on getting a studio outside in my garage, getting that done. Because they really annoy me, those lights. So I'm moving my head to make sure it doesn't shine on me.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
You've got a halo, Peter.
Yeah. I've got a glow about me, an aura.
You have today. Yes. Now, we're talking about Twitter changes, and you had a couple of questions or observations.
Twitter, something that I don't use, believe it or not.
All right, okay.
Until recently.
Uh-huh.
I started, I used to use Hootsuite. I've got several Twitter accounts. I actually taught Twitter. People would say, "What's this, Twitter, Peter?" I says, "Yes, I'll show you how to use it." And this was older people.
It's Twitter, Peter. It's Twitter. Do you tell them? I hope you told them straight.
Yes, of course I did.
Yeah.
And so I says, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make up a little course for it." And it went down very well. And that was years ago. Now the people that I actually taught use it more than me. I hardly use it at all. So, but I've got a friend who's an author, and he's just written a book about his version of the Quran, or his view of it, Pakistani guy, and he's using Twitter to get out there, and he's seen an upsurge in people buying the book, which is quite interesting. And it's all because he's went on Twitter,
That's good.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting stuff.
We've been joined by lots of friends today. Hello, Lewis, and hello, RJ.
Hello.
Hey. Now we're talking about Fallon Zoe, and she was interviewed by Jeff Adams in the BLIFbot group yesterday. If you've not seen it, and you want some tips and tricks and hints and practical advice on how to increase your audience, then go and watch the video. It is full of sound advice, And one of the points that made was actually creating a tribe. And the tribe around Fallon Zoe is called Mermaids. So Tina and I were talking about this before the show. What we'd like is for everyone... No, perhaps we shouldn't ask people to suggest a name for our tribe. Because we don't have a tribe, we're all friends.
A tribe, okay.
A tribe. Well, I did come up with one name. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to put it up on the screen anyway. I thought we could be Bliffers.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I've mentioned there's a guy in Aberdeen that I know. Two of them I know, actually. And they're building up a fair amount of people watching them every week. And it's straight Facebook Live. And as I say, Derek's a medium. He deals with dead people. And him and another guy, I'm not sure, I think he takes people over hot coals and things like that. And they've built up a fair following here in Aberdeen, much more than I ever did. And he's getting 75 to 100 people watching him, just talking. He's a life coach as well, so it's quite interesting. Derek McGilvery's his name. And so the Happy Medium he's called. Happy Medium.
See, that's a very specific niche, right? I mean, it's really specific.
Yeah, the Happy Medium, because people say I used to work with him at one time, and he was this says you're always happy, Derek, always happy. I'll tell you a spooky story though. And he said one lady was in his audience, and he said, "Hey, why is there a bottle of brown sauce floating above your head?" And the woman broke down crying. And what had happened, her brother had been killed a few weeks before in a motorcycle accident. And she says to him, "The amount of brown sauce that you eat, you'll come back as a bottle of brown sauce." And that was above her head. Spooky.
That's definitely spooky, Peter. And timing as well.
You have to be happy, like a happy medium, because if you can see dead people, they're going to remind you all the time, what do you have to be unhappy about? You're still alive.
Yeah.
Good point. A very good point. Now, you won't believe this, Peter, but Tina and I are going to be on again today.
Okay.
We're actually on a show called The Best of BLIve with Ross and Rachel. And if you want to set your watch for 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, not really. But I'll probably be awake at 1 in the morning.
Well, I will have to be. The show airs at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, but if you can catch it and join us, then we're looking forward to it, aren't we? To chatting with Ross and Rachel.
If not, get the replay, right? It's going to be there.
Hopefully I'll be asleep, because I'm actually up early. I've got my BNI group tomorrow morning.
Right, okay.
So I'm up at 5 anyway. Yeah.
Well, you can watch it while you're getting ready then. It'll be finished at 2 o'clock. Yeah. But that's The Best to Be Live at 8 p.m. Eastern with myself, Tina, Ross, Rachel, and the Royal Caribbean cruise, I think.
Cruise, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So it's what's in your agenda today then?
Agenda?
Today? Got an agenda?
Oh, we might have. I was speaking about Twitter. I was speaking about bliffers.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I've got a good question. One which I do have a point on. When you're hosting a show, should a host stay on camera? So picture it. You're hosting a show. You've got 4 people on camera. A 5th people comes into the room. Who should drop down into the lobby to let the other person up?
I think personally the host should be on the camera. If you've got a host on a talk show on TV, for instance, he doesn't really get dropped, only when the speaker is replying to his questions. And then they've got cameramen and an editor, a producer, or whatever, all behind the camera. Yeah, I think the host should be there.
Tina?
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird when the host leaves.
Yeah, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop doing it for the simple reason that as people come to see the hosts of the show, and in our case, it's the co-host, and the same on Monday. And when I did the show with David yesterday, He's in Ontario in Canada. And of course, half our audience are from Canada, not unreasonably. So when David said, I'll just drop myself into the lobby and you four carry on talking, half the audience just disappeared.
Really?
So, moral of that story is, if you are hosting a show, then resist the temptation to take a break and keep yourself on camera.
I think that stems from when I first started. I wasn't sure how to work this. And when I done my first few shows, Stephen come on and actually was my producer for me. And I think that's maybe where that come from. And so if you're a host, host it. And if you're the producer, stay behind the camera or off the screen.
Yep.
Famous people in America,
Johnny
Larry
Carson.
King, Johnny Carson, Larry King, Peter Stewart.
Yeah, but I think not only are they there to see, the host because they're coming to your show, but also it just kind of loses control and goes, not that this show's ever in control. This is kind of a show about nothing and everything. Just whatever we decide to talk about. So we don't necessarily stick to the agenda, but I think if someone were to click on in the middle of the show and they don't see Stephen, then they are like, am I in the right place? It's like that person that they associate the show with is missing from
your spot on.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll ever have game shows here on doing this. Somebody coming on and doing it. Double your money and try to get rich. Remember that one, Stephen?
I do, yes.
Open the box. Yes. Open the box. Remember, key. You want the key?
Take the money, Peter. Take the money.
Take the money.
I think there probably already are. I bet if you were to check out Facebook Watch, there's probably some kind of game show on there already.
Yeah, who's that? Hey, Louie. Who's that? Oh, gee, right, okay. Yes. And I remember even sadly, we had a chap die last week, and he was, there's nothing like a bit of bullseye.
Ah, right. Jim Bowen, yes. Television stars in the UK. Great bloke. Yeah. Ex-school teacher.
Yeah.
And then went on to become a comedian, and then was, probably one of the most famous people in the country for the 11 years he was on his own game show.
Yeah. Is there anybody like famous using Facebook Live in America?
Facebook Watch has famous people. Yeah. If you look at some of the shows on Facebook Watch, Facebook actually has paid a whole lot of money to famous people to do shows, to do video and live. So they're out there. I can't tell you any because I don't watch Facebook Watch.
Okay, I'll have to have a look at that to see Facebook Watch, see how it works. It's quite interesting what's out there.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't done a watch show for about a week in BLIFbot. I don't know how they're catching on. So
I'll tell you how big the people who are spending money to advertise are the ones that are catching on.
And who are they paying? Who are they paying? Facebook.
Yeah, they're doing some Facebook advertising to promote their shows, or they're the big, the big players that Facebook is promoting because Facebook's paying them to do the show. If you just click, I don't know, because sometimes stuff looks different in the UK on Facebook than it does for us here. But on mine, if I'm on my regular, just go to Facebook and your regular feed there to the left, you have newsfeed, messenger, and then watch is how it shows up online.
Oh, right. Okay.
Click watch, you can go and discover some of the things that are there. And, so Inside the Madness, season 1, episode 6 shows up at the first of mine, and it's basketball, which I could care less. So why they're showing me that, I don't know. I've never watched basketball. But you can see, so there's Your Food's Roots has Zoe Deschanel, who's famous here in the U.S. and probably there too. Episode 2 of her thing.
Never heard of her.
Yeah. Late Show, Stephen Colbert has a thing on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's people on here that are famous that are doing shows.
Interesting. But you know, after all this carry on with Facebook, I still believe Facebook's here to say it's maybe a good time to buy shares in Facebook because it's going to go up again. It's going to go up because they'll get their act together and say, listen, if you do this, they're going to harvest your stuff. They won't go to your friends, but they'll take what you say. So they'll just make better rules, I would think, in what they're doing. Because it's just like any marketing firm in life. They try to get as much information as they can in order to win. And let's face it, whether you vote left, right, centre, they will probably all have done it in their own way to gather market intelligence, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, Jason agrees with you because he says buying shares now, yes, for sure.
Yeah. We
And the
should
other
money
thing,
to buy shares.
and just going back to watch parties for a moment, Jason's not happy with the format. It's not user-friendly, and that's why it doesn't use FB Watch. Now, in the UK, I've just checked my Facebook page, and we don't. Ours reads Newsfeed, Messenger, Marketplace. So we don't have the watch.
Yeah.
We've no idea. It's a mystery to us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, check at the bottom underneath Explorer. If you still have Explorer, check down there and see if it's down there.
No.
Yeah, it's that's one of the things that's really frustrating about Facebook is it's like the wild, wild west. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Nothing's consistent. You don't know what's going to click and stay and what's not. So you don't know where to invest your time and your efforts. Yeah. So, I mean, it's frustrating, but, you know, even though Facebook's been around a while, it's constantly evolving and changing. So I think they'll get their act together, you know, and we'll be happy for a while, and then something else will change, and it'll be crazy wild, wild west again, and they'll figure it out. I had someone ask me today, actually, give me a call and say, you know, and asked if they should pull out of Facebook, that I think Facebook was going away. And I'm like, no. Facebook may aggravate some of us who are marketers, especially marketers who don't have big budgets. It may aggravate and frustrate us, but the users aren't going anywhere. There's 2 billion users there. And the simple fact that marketers are going to be where the people are. This is where the people are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did two things. One, I went to my Facebook apps, which scared the life out of me. And well, it did. There were so many of them. I mean, 10 years on here and I've not been there. Mm-hmm. And so I went through all the apps and I cleared out every single app that either disappeared or I didn't recognize or I don't remember, and I've ended up with names I know, and it took about an hour and a half to do it, but once done, it's done. But Facebook has made a change in relation to that, and if you don't use an application on Facebook, a third-party application, for 3 months, then Facebook will remove it for you. Yeah, and I think that's sound, because that keeps everybody tidy. So I could have saved myself an hour and a half if I just
waited a while. But, you know, that's the thing. Facebook is kind of figuring out things as they go as well, because all of this is new to everybody. Yeah. And so, you know, there's going to be problems. You're going to run into things. And then you have to think, if you have a problem as a company and say you have 200 clients, that's a major headache to try to deal with, something that's affecting 200 clients and to fix that problem quickly. They have 2 billion users. It's a huge platform. So it's going to take time. I think people get really freaked out about security and stuff. And you know, even though I realize that there's problems with security breach, and it's frustrating sometimes to think that you're kind of being stalked and they're showing you what you want. But we're such a lazy society. We want everything easy and handed to us. What would we do if Facebook didn't show us that night cream that we needed on Amazon? We'd never order it because we'd forget to do it because they didn't show it to us. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of we complain about everything. So we complain either way.
I'll tell you who I think is wary of Facebook. I think that the mainstream media, whether it's left thinking, center thinking, or right thinking, they've got to take notice of what they say, because if something is filmed live, right, and it shows that they were utterly wrong and just try to put their point of view in it, whether it's right, left, or center, okay, that's going to be a problem, because I've seen things happening live, right? And then when the mainstream media's put it on, they've cut it for their own narrative, and that's been amazing. And I've seen somebody saying, but you didn't show the full version of that, so you never showed what happened before and after. You only cherry picked this bit, and that's when they're going to get caught out if they don't tell the truth. So Facebook Live has been great for disaster, not for disasters, but when there's been disasters, people are able to get the word out, and etc., etc. And so it's live, and it's as live as you will get it, I would think.
Yeah.
So it's good. So it really is good for that.
But, you know, it goes back to us being lazy as consumers. We don't bother to check. You know, you see all the fake news that's out there, and we just share it and share it and share it. We don't bother to go see, is Snoop Dogg really dead? Or is just the 500th time he's died this year, because nobody bothered to go check to see if it's real. You know, so, but it goes back to that. We complain either way. So we complain if they are like too cringy as far as following everything they do and showing us all of this stuff. And then we complain if it's not catered to our likes. And then we're like, well, why are we seeing this? We're not interested in this. And then if they're showing us what we're like, well, what are you doing? Are you stalking me to know everything that I like? So it's kind of a you can't win no matter what you do situation.
So here's another thing. When I'm on Facebook, I watch the videos. I know you get another video once you've watched a video and you flick the next one up. Why Stephen Healey keep coming up? Sometimes you're on with him. Did you know? Were you aware of that? You're coming up in the feed.
I think it's a good thing, Peter. I don't have a problem with it at all.
But why is that?
I'm glad.
I listen to you. Is that
well, basically, you can actually say that it's up to you. You can actually say you want to see something first. So if you at any point said see first, and the fact is that the more you watch a video, and thank you for being on and watching, so in and watching, the more we interact, because we're live now twice a week, then Facebook will say, right, okay, I see everything of yours, Peter.
Oh,
right, so the favour is returned.
Do you watch it for more than 10 seconds?
Of course I do.
I'll tell you what I done the other day. I'm back cycling. I actually run the Facebook group. And I decided, it's just been sitting there stagnant. I started putting out a few things yesterday. And names were popping up that I didn't know, liking the page. And I just putting out information, links to the runs that we do for April, links for just different bits of the site about the insurance. And people are starting to see it, so that was good to see. People I've never known. Yeah? Do you want to is your bike sitting in the shed gathering dust? Why not get it out and come a run with us? Question them. Here is what you will need. And it is working. So I'll have to keep an eye on that and keep
the groups, I think, are really powerful if you have a group, again, that has that niche. It's got to be specific. Can't be a group where it's just general. You have to have a specific and be consistent in staying with that topic. And then I think you really will get great engagement and, sales, if that's what you're looking for, viewers, whatever it is you're looking for. I think if you find that thing that you like and that you're interested in enough that you're going to stay with it, be consistent, I think you can grow that audience, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever.
I've actually asked them for money so we can actually boost it a bit as well and get people who don't know us interested.
That'd be good. And just to say hello to Gina, who's been patiently waiting a response to a comment, which was algorithms will change daily from now on. Biggest change will be business pages, move to Explorer feed. We have to advertise to get to the main feed, and you made that point, Tina, that if you pay the $1, you actually get
the business pages will not move to Explorer feed, though. Facebook made an announcement a little while back, actually, that they have decided not to do the Explorer feed. So your business pages will still show up in the regular feed, just not as often if you don't have amazing engagement or preferably doing some advertising, then you're going to show up less often. But they at least decided to ditch that whole Explore feed thing.
Well, that's what I do. With my business, I put out posts, and every so often I'll boost a post, only when I want to, when it's specific. What I haven't done is I haven't looked at Facebook video ads. I believe you can do that.
The video ads actually work better. And if you will do, rather than boosting a post, if you'll actually use the business manager, are you using the Facebook business manager?
I'm not sure. I think
so. Just go to business.facebook.com and you can see your pages that you manage from there. Right. Use that, and then there's a drop down for you to go and select your ads. So you can go from business manager, and then there's a drop down and it says ads manager. If you go in there and build your ads, you have a lot more options as far as how you target. You can do retargeting. You can do lookalike audiences. There's a lot more options there, so you can make it more specific and more effective if you use the business manager.
But I'm going to get a video made now with still pictures, bringing on the next picture, like a slideshow, kind of woman screaming on it. But I'm not just wanting householders. I'm wanting, and we'll be running, and then getting pest control.
Do a split test. Do that ad, create that video ad, and then post it and do it as a boost, and then take that same ad and the same ad copy and do it as an ad from your business manager, and see what the difference is in your return.
I happened to repost a video we've done in the past, and people are commenting on it again. You know, so I'm going to get a proper video made for that. So it was an advert on the television, and every often put that out, and then every so often have a muck about. When I get my show done as well, when I get the show done, it's coming. It's coming.
You can actually retarget, but so you can do that video ad, and then you can tell Facebook, I want to do another ad, whether it's a video or a regular print kind of ad. I want to do another ad, and I only want this ad to go to the people who watched that video. So you can have that as a specific audience, and you can retarget to them and kind of move them all down the pipeline.
You don't have to put in a pixel or things like that for that, do you? Do they do it for you?
You have to do the pixel if you're wanting to lead them to a lead page. So if you're wanting them to take them to a website or something where they're going to fill out a lead, then you want to do a pixel. When you get into the ads manager, there's a lot more options. They actually have a lead ad that you can do. And within the ad itself, they have the information to fill out, so they can go ahead and,
Has anybody done a video for that yet? Hint.
And you can go, and maybe I shouldn't tell everybody this, but Facebook actually offers some really great free training.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you can go and learn from Facebook how to use the Facebook Ads Manager platform. Yeah. It is a lot of work, and it's a kind of a learning curve. But if you're not going to pay somebody to do it, you should go learn to do it yourself.
I think that Facebook, although it's for social, I think if they get their act together and say, this is our social side and this is our business side. Listen, yellow pages here are finished. The yellow pages, the book is finished. Yeah. And I'm not advertising online with them either. So there's an opportunity for Facebook to come up with something, whether it's video ads or whatever, and say, this is our commercial side, and let's push it.
Yeah, we still have clients that are spending, $800 a month on yellow page ads. Yeah, we still see that, and that's just crazy that they're doing that. But we still see them, putting their money into that traditional media, and it's not being effective for them.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And we're joined by Corinda. Hello, Corinda. And Corinda is asking, what are we talking about? And our usual answer is anything and everything. Really, we haven't a clue. And just to shout out, I want to say thank you to Gina and to Jason. You won't recognize what the title that's on the screen. This morning, at 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. in the UK, I did a show. And the show was a sales show where I sold 2 products live on air, took orders.
Right.
And those sales were sent to Messenger, and the link in Messenger sent them to the order page where they could place the order. And Gina and Jason did. And the order appeared in the back office without their ever leaving Facebook, just using Facebook Live and Facebook Messenger. So there is on the way a sales system from VidPresso, which allows you to sell direct on the page, live through video, and
very good.
It simply works.
That's great.
It's great when something simply works. We don't get much simply anything these days.
Well,
because you say
never leaving Facebook, just using
Oh,
Hang
sorry
on,
about
Peter.
I'm trying to turn the sound down. Here we go.
I can hear
he's trying
myself.
to turn it off. He's turning it off.
You're okay. You're okay.
Right. So yeah, VidPresso Live Sales is in beta at the moment, and will be released when everybody's happy with it. But it is a fantastic way. It's no competitive for BLive. It's nothing to do with BLive. And the system simply works, and I was able to sell my Udemy courses, and Gina and Jason pretended to buy them, and the system was just a joy to use. And according to Angelica, I got very excited. So if I get excited about something, it means that
I've
it's
never seen
going to be a winner.
Stephen Healey excited all my life.
This would be. I have a lot of friends who are in network marketing, and they're already doing live for to sell their jewelry or their nails or makeup or whatever it is that they're doing. This would be really great for them to be able to.
It's ideal for that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Can I ask
ideal.
a question with it? When you sell it and they buy, do they go to a website and pay, and then it's ordered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything at all, Peter. You just do this introduction, tell the story of the product, put up the banner which says it was $74, it's now $11, and Corinda's just reminded me he was one of those who bought both products, and it's now $11. If you type in rep, we did rep for repurposing because I was advertising repurpose.io, and then
great.
Basically it just worked. It was just a pleasure. And
very good.
Affiliate marketers too, so they're going to be great for them.
Yeah.
It's well, we've got a saying in the UK, haven't we, Peter? The best thing since sliced bread.
Aye. Best thing since sliced bread. Aye.
And I think it is, and I'm looking forward. I mean, I'm fortunate to be part of the team beta testing this, and I did a private test over the weekend. And when I created a new page, and I went to the page, I went live on the page, but it wasn't published until the moment I went live. The page was unpublished, so it was hidden. So I published the page, and then I went live to the page with my test of a test. And who should be there watching me but April? How April managed to find me in the 10 minutes I was live, I have no idea. She's everywhere.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite interesting, that. I mean, I can see that taking off because we've got QVC here, which I don't watch, and it'll just be like an equivalent, is it, Stephen?
It is. It's the QVC of Facebook Live.
Aye. Hey, I could sell my services and get people to buy.
Indeed.
Say, hey, buy from me.
It's a fusion of live video, the product database with all your products in it, and bots. But the thing is, you don't see the bot.
No.
It's not a ManyChat bot. It's not a chat fuel bot. It's a bot that they've developed that takes care of the sales side of things. And I'm, if you can tell, I'm impressed.
So is video press or are they an actual business then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You, as Corinda did afterwards, you can go live on VidPresso, and you can go 4 people on screen. You can go live just as we're doing.
I could sell fly killers on there then, and they would deal with the back thing.
Well, you set it up, and then yes, effectively, yeah.
Okay. But hey, where's the world going to go?
Well, you don't need to move from your armchair, Peter.
I know.
The only thing is, there's only one caveat here, Peter, and I should mention it now because it was mentioned to me yesterday, that Facebook do not like you selling physical product with live video. Something you can touch.
Strange.
So, but people are doing it, aren't they, Tina?
Absolutely, yeah. We see the network marketers. I mean, there's one show that Molly Mahoney, I think maybe it's her sister-in-law or her brother-in-law or somebody, but she's helped them, of course, get everything into place to do live really well. And they have some bots in place and things, but they sell the LuLaRoe, which is like leggings. It's a clothing line. Yeah. And they will have 300 or 400 concurrent viewers, and the people just make a comment to say, I want that product or whatever. So this is going to simplify that for them and probably make their sales go through the roof, but they're already doing like 50, 60 grand a month selling this product through live. So
really,
they're doing like amazingly well. Have grown like crazy.
Indeed.
Who's whistling?
It's not
my
me.
husband.
All right.
Tell me Disney whistle.
Thank goodness for that, Peter and I thought we'd got whistling.
Tell him what?
Tell me Disney whistle.
Okay. And earlier, whilst I was doing the VidPresso show, Gina said, "I want that," and the explanation is, yes, I'm live daily to use that, and it works without my having to set up a bot on the back side of the system. Huge. So it's a huge step forward for marketers on Facebook.
So Gina's saying she's doing that.
She's doing that, but she's having to use messenger bots. If she could do away with the messenger bots and just go live, set up the products and just go live, and everything else is automatic, then life would be a joy.
This is going to make some of the chatbot developers really unhappy.
So, Tina, is anybody from your industry, the funeral, has anybody done a live one yet? Advertorial.
Like a live service, you mean?
Or a live advertorial. That interests me. An advertorial.
An advert?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Why? The first one that does it, brave, it would be good. Do it nicely. That would be great, that.
Yeah, it's just, getting them, we are seeing them move forward, embracing social media and even doing some live.
Right.
But, it's still a very touchy kind of.
Don't ask me to help because you know what I'm like. Are you thinking of dying?
No, I don't think it would. I mean, the sense of humour doesn't travel, Peter. I mean, would not. We've got an advertising standards agency in the UK, and they've got to pass every single advert that goes. Now, if we had the similar on Facebook, that wouldn't go. You couldn't. They wouldn't allow it. I just want to say, RJ is saying not me, and.
Oh no, I know it wouldn't make RJ unhappy. She's sharing all her knowledge anyway. Oh, yeah. I was talking about the ones that are, charging thousands of dollars for a bot.
Budweiser Light made a big one. I don't know if you've seen that today in Britain, but they've made an advert about being lighter, and I think it's on YouTube, and it's because they've actually pulled it, being lighter, and it goes all the way down. The barman pushes it all the way down the bar, and it goes past all the black people to a light-skinned lady at the end, and that caused a big problem in the press today. So they've pulled the advert. It was meant to be light, but
Yeah, I think I actually was just having this conversation with my partner the other day. We're talking about, in the UK, you guys are kind of. I watch the UK industry as far as the death care industry, because I think where you are now is where the US will head. And, you guys are an older nation. You've been dealing with the death care and death care industry in place longer than we have. So I think any changes that we see there will eventually make their way over here. One of the things that has made its way here, but isn't as popular yet, is the death positive movement and death cafes. And so we're seeing that kind of trickle this way.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that.
I've got to tell you, in Britain, we're actually quite humorous about funerals. I don't know if you're aware of that. I mean, I was singing at a bowling club one night, which is mainly elderly people, and I noticed your sponsor tonight. I thought I'd wear a black suit, white shirt, and black tie, because it was the local undertaker. I says, he's picked him well here, doesn't he? He knows you're right for him, don't he? And I just had a great joke on stage and that.
Some of the individual funeral directors have really good sense of humor, but I think there's still a lot of stigma associated with death here, and people aren't really comfortable talking openly about it. I think the death positive movement that's making its way here will change that, and we'll be more comfortable talking about death. But I think they're just so afraid of offending someone that they steer just as far away from any kind of humor or anything that they can. For the most part, there are some that do humorous things. But for the most part, it's still really conservative and very careful about being offensive.
if they've done anything, it would be done with dignity live, and I think that would go down well. And because I I know when we have open days here in Aberdeen, where the public places are open, the crematorium is packed. People want to see it. They want to see what goes on. It's quite amazing. But I think we spoke about this before.
Yeah, I think people are definitely curious. You know, the first show, and it wasn't a video, it was actually a podcast. It's the only podcast I've ever done. But the first show that I was on that surrounding the death care, and this is when I very first started working with funeral homes, was actually a show from the UK that's called Death Goes Digital. And so, you know, it was really good. He asked some pretty fun questions and had a good time. I'd like to have him on our show, but we do our show at a time that he's in the bed.
Yeah, I've actually got a friend who used to be a priest, and he started doing funeral talks. No, he's not a humanist, he's a celebrant, and he's written a book about the things that go wrong at funerals. Quite hilarious. And he asked me to do the celebrant course. I goes, nah, not for me just now. Yeah. But no, it's a bit of humour. So what else have we got before I go?
Right, okay. I mentioned this earlier, I should have done. And that is, if anybody's got an Android, can they try and join as an Android, please? Just to answer a question about somebody who said he was having problems with people using Android.
I'm on Android now.
You're on Android now?
That was when you heard the noise, right?
All right, okay.
That you were on Android. Yeah,
right.
Be live and flive now. So there you go.
Right, okay. Well, I was thinking joining as a guest from Android. Because you've done that, Peter, on many an occasion, haven't you?
I joined as a guest before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does work.
Yeah, and I've joined as a guest before from my phone. So I know that it was working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corinda, very kind. We should already be in the BLIVers group. We have an exclusive arrangement with BLIVers in that the shows can go live into the group, so we should be live in there. And
turn this down.
Just a moment. Just for a brief second, we have the original Tina Shang and Tina Shang 2. And this is 4 people on screen. You're right.
Terrible phone. My phone is terrible. That's why I don't use it. The camera is awful.
I remember when Tina started in this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a year now, a little over a year.
And you know, I was actually a business network today, very intimate, not a lot of people there, and people were saying, do you know what they said to me? When you starting your show again? Because we were talking about it. And I said, I'm going to have to get this off the ground as soon as I can. Because I met some interesting people today. And I says, I think I better get this done. And I'm trying to think, bots come up. And a lot of them didn't know about bots for Messenger, you know. And I was telling them about me and sitting in my bath, taking orders for a couple of £100, sitting in my bath, you know. Yeah, so very good.
Yeah, that story always loses audience, Peter. I don't know. every time you tell it, we lose viewers, but we don't care.
You can network anywhere. And if people say, where have you networked? I've networked online in my bath.
You know, I saw, this is really funny. This is one of the things that came up on my Facebook. And it says a shower curtain that holds your devices. So it has pockets of different sizes, your tablet or your phone or whatever, you know. And so it has this pocket that you can put it in, and it seals up so that your phone or your tablet doesn't get wet, so you can watch TV or send messages or whatever while you're showering or bathing.
Right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back with something, and I'll pretend I'm like QVC, and I'm going to sell it. Watch. Hold on.
Okay, off you go. All right. Okay, we're going to have an advert section now from Peter in Aberdeen. We're all waiting with bated breath as this. I mean, he's tried everything. He's tried selling marketing coffee.
Yeah, but down in 2 minutes. I'm live.
Right. Okay, Peter. The show is yours. What are you going to sell to us?
Did you hear there that my supper was ready?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right, are you good?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So, So, ladies and gentlemen, you've got home, you've had a really hard day, but you know you've got to be online at 7 o'clock at night and you're lying in your bath. That's going to be no problem in future. Get your iPad out, get tuned in, and come on here. So what we've got here is goes across your bath. This is for the iPad, yeah. This bit here, this for your phone, and that's also for your phone. And then you can have a cup of tea here. And you can. There's also a slot to have a wine glass if you drink alcohol, but not like me. I wish there was another one because I'm left-handed, but I drink with my right, and I'm sure someone will make that. And one of the best bits of kit that I've got, so you can relax in your bath and still, but funnily enough, people don't like me joining their show live on camera.
I can't imagine why, Peter, but thank you for the demonstration.
Do we have to put like a, one of those things up at the bottom that says, don't drink and drown while you're in the bathtub? Because if you don't put that disclaimer on, they can sue you because they got drunk in their bathtub.
I don't know, but I thought, I wonder if I can get one of them. I was going to just use an ordinary one. It says, I bet you someone's made something like this. And sure enough, there was loads of them in Amazon. Yeah. A great bit of kit.
Right, okay. And just a point, I just want to point this out to Corinda. It says, can that be done for a laptop as well?
I'm sure
not if it's plugged in. Don't have a plugged-in laptop anywhere near the bath.
Yeah, and you can also get a portable speaker that's got a sucker. Put it in the bath, and it doesn't get wet.
So then you can have Peter on from his bath singing in the bathtub. Facebook will probably remove the video because he's violating copyright by singing.
I've actually spoken to people in Skype, my cousins and that, from the bath. Many a meeting from my bath. And when I mention that to Stephen Healey, he usually panics.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you, Tina? I mean,
this is when you invite Peter to your podcast, not to your videos.
Indeed.
Well, listen, as you know, my tea's there, so thank you much for having him on. And it's been a laugh, and we'll see you later. Okay.
Okay, take care, Peter. Bye for now. Right, that was Peter from Aberdeen, which is in the far north of Scotland, and just proves that Scots have a sense of humour.
Yes, we have the best and the weirdest friends.
Yeah, I mean, I did put in the post today that in the show anything could happen, and it did. Peter joined us, and it's goodbye from Gina. Gina, thank you for joining us. Miles, thank you for joining. Corinda, Jason. And anybody who I've missed, well, the time just flies by when you're having fun on live. And in case we didn't catch you earlier, Tina and I are back at 8 p.m. Eastern when Tina will do most of the talking because it's going to be 1 a.m. in the UK. Okay. Tina, your turn to close.
Okay, well, join us tonight, obviously, at 8 p.m. with Rachel and Ross on the Best of Be Live. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday for Be Live in 5. Same time.
Absolutely brilliant.
Anything else will happen.
Well, anything can happen, including, well, we'll talk about that later. Bye, everybody.